This is Stalker, Clear Sky. We're here on Xbox Series S. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So this is the second entry in the Stalker series. You can buy them together as one package, or you can kind of grab them standalone if you so choose to do so, which is kind of cool in a neat way for kind of value in choosing what you like. So this one is kind of an interesting release. I think this one might be my least favorite of the bunch after playing through them, which doesn't sound like a great vote of confidence, but yeah, I spent a fair bit of time playing with these the last couple days, and I don't know. This one is actually really interesting to me. You know, I say I like it like the least out of them, but it actually is genuinely interesting to me because, I'm too exhausted to walk. Oh, I hate the stamina system in these games with a burning passion. Oh, just a burning passion do I hate the stamina system. Oh, do I think it is dumb. Oh, yes, I do. So, yeah, this one's intriguing because it's kind of like a system where you're sort of building towards places, like you capture different zones and you sort of build up and progress towards where your faction kind of influences. It's kind of neat in that regard. So what are we getting here on the Series S? It's 1080p, 60 FPS. There is also the option to adjust or limit the frame rate and do the motion blur setting if you'd like to. Now, this is very much a game of its time. It's got some interesting gameplay mechanics. It's got some neat concepts to it. It's got a neat sense of, you know, challenge and design. It's kind of an intriguing offering. I don't know if these games will be for everyone, because they are a bit niche and, like I said, of their era. Wow, that is genuinely annoying. I'm in this, like, second segment area here, and I'm just getting totally cut up by that guy with the machine gun there. Kind of a bit of a pain. But it's sort of like a role-playing game, too, in the sense that you are having to, like, you chat with people, but you also, like, you manage resources, you adjust sort of your character, you take care of yourself from bleeding out. Am I getting shot at through the tree? That's remarkable. And, you know, you gotta deal with things like harder to shoot weapons, and you gotta deal with, like, not really environmental stuff, but, like, basically there's a moody sense of atmosphere. Sometimes, I guess you would say you're like, your inventory is too heavy and you can't really move, and then you die. You get to deal with other factions and conflicts. It's intriguing. It's definitely an intriguing concept. I feel like I need a gun with, like, the scope to be able to take these guys out. Kind of annoying that you would welcome people into this new area, and then you would immediately, just without any sort of fashion or movement in a linear way, despite this game being largely open in approach, just have this area where you immediately get seen and blasted upon from this tower. I guess it's kind of realistic in the sense that, like, you know, would something like this exist, or a tower like that, you would be getting attacked. I guess in this way. Oh, there's, like, ammo and food and stuff here. That's kind of helpful. So this one builds upon the concepts of the first entry in the series, because it is something that's taking that approach in that one, which is more linear and akin to, like, Crisis 1, I would say. And this one opens things up quite nicely as you're given more freedom and an approach to do things. And there's a lot more going on in this one. That's one thing I kind of find with the third game, is that that one is a bit almost too open, and there's not enough stuff going on. I am a very lucky devil, what can I say? So part of the experience is going through and dealing with these anomalies, these problems, these threats, and trying to survive. You're trying to make it to these new locations. You're trying to expand the efforts of your faction. You chat with people, you interact with people, you go about doing stuff. You have main jobs, odd jobs. You're investigating this new problem in the zone. You're dealing with these anomalies, like I mentioned, which are these crazy tremor type events with weird cloud stuff. And you've got your bolts, and you're looking. There's like artifacts and stuff, and it's interesting. Like there's a sense of it being kind of unsettling. Like I guess there's a horror element to it as well. But as I've kind of mentioned previously, they are very much games of their time, each of these titles. And this one is something of its time. Like, it does handle fine on the console. There is supposed to be a proper optimization coming for this one down the road. This is the guy from the first game? No, I think that guy's... I think that guy's from the first game. I don't know if I remember fully on that one. Oh, that's kind of funny. Yeah. I think he's from the first game. Like, I think he's, like, literally the first guy you meet when you start the first game up. Oh, he is! This is the area from the,
I'm all ears.
This is the area from the first game. Oh, okay. That's neat. Am I playing the right one? Yeah, clear sky. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Anyways, that's kind of a neat way to do that. Can I have the energy drink?
Something to say, say it.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of chat with people. A little bit like Call of Duty for like Call of Duty 4 for kind of like movement, shooting a little bit, a little crazier, more recoil, gun jamming, and it's a little bit like Fallout 3 of the time too. Yeah, it's kind of neat. I'm like way too overstacked on stuff. Like I don't want to give up my good guns if I make like I don't want to give up my guns. But there is an element of, like, being overweight here that's kind of killing me. I guess we could drink a little bit. That will help. So, yeah, kind of fascinating. I do recommend playing on a lower difficulty, though, like the lowest, because this game is pretty grueling. It's very unforgiving. Make sure that you're constantly creating your own saves, because that can be a problem, too. I even created a save, I think, on this one, where things kind of get stuck. And this one is, like, kind of the buggiest of them, too. I kind of mentioned that this one is sort of my least favorite of the three so far from what I've been playing through them. And a lot of that comes down to this one being a bit more buggy in the sense that kind of certain faction things don't work. Like, for example, these guys were never coming to this spot. So by killing a commander of my friendly AIs, all of a sudden they started doing what they were supposed to. I don't know if that also caused some kind of enemies to get killed along the way or what. But, I have to defend a bus stop? Oh. Alright. So that's a limited timed event, I guess. We should get in there and give them a hand. But you meet these creepy individuals in these creepy places, and you deal with some, as I was kind of getting to, some horror elements, some supernatural stuff. Like, there is some cool elements to this game. Like, I do find some of it to be rather intriguing. I like the premise and the setup of this one. I do know you're supposed to be a little bit more tactical in your approach to handling situations. Like, I think for, like, a niche type of player out there, these games are actually pretty cool. And on the Series S, you know, it does look pretty fine, honestly. Like, it looks pretty decent. It's a little jaggedy in spots and stuff like that, but all seems to kind of handle well. I'm looking forward to seeing what they kind of do in their approach for these optimizations down the road that they've mentioned that they're going to be doing. You know, mod sport type stuff. I'm kind of curious to see how that all is going to pan out with these games. See what they do with it. It is interesting, because, again, from a PC perspective, I do believe from a lot of the carrying of these games on PC is the fact that they've had, like, a good wealth of mod sport that has kind of really taken these to a higher quality level, if that makes sense. Like, patched up a lot of things, fixed a lot of problems. So I could definitely see how that would impact stuff, because this would be a lot more of a kind of like a vanilla effort, if that makes sense, and not in like a bad way, right? Like they're the games, they've kind of worked well on making them transfer over to the console side of things, which I appreciate. It's just yeah, they do show their age a little bit. I think other people can sort of get that vibe too if you're going here. I feel like I failed to save these people here. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think I kind of failed on saving them. Just gonna throw that out there. Wasn't intentional, but yeah, they did. They did. I think these other stalkers around here could have helped out a little bit, though. That would have been kind of ideal for sure. Oh, I'm out of ammo. That's great. Always out of ammo. Oh, jeez. At least this radial menu is nice. Yeah, I think I'm actually more shocked in this one at how well the textures kind of hold up. Like, I didn't assume that visually and aesthetically the games would present themselves so well so many years on. It really is kind of a case where you look at some older games and you're like, maybe all you do need is a little bit of a resolution bump up and you've got some pretty clean looking things here. You know, outside of it being a bit more jagged because it is 1080p on object, like, you know, the resolution's 1080p, so like objects and stuff aren't as sharp and pristine and clear as it could be at a higher resolution like I've been seeing with the Series X, but I still think it looks really, really nice on the platform. Performs quite nicely. Yeah, I don't really have too many complaints about the port quality here. I'd say it's pretty good. Like, it would have been maybe nice to have some of the buggier stuff cleaned up a bit, but like, ultimately at the end of the day, you're kind of, you know, you're getting the game as it was. It's just a nice little package. Oh, and there's quite a bit of pop-in, but like, yeah, there is quite a bit of pop-in. I don't know if you'll totally notice that, but as you move through the world, it's definitely a thing, right? Go quick, the trader put a word in for me. Oh, that's nice. Can I get up through there? No? Okay. You're always very pushed in this. Like, this one is a lot more open than the first game. It genuinely is, but yeah, you're still always pushed in certain directions. And then the third one just really blows it up into like this kind of big open world sort of thing. Kind of like that approach the most. I just wish that one had more interesting dynamics going on. I'm gonna have to get rid of one of these guns. I don't know if it should be the MP5, the AK. Like, I like the rifle. It's still not even helping that much. That's only like a few. That's not even that much of an improvement on my inventory. You're always like the stamina system in these games drives me crazy because it's like I'm over encumbered and I'm really not holding that much. Like, I guess I'm holding like ammo and stuff, like a couple of med packs, but really shouldn't be that big of a deal. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like DayZ. Mentioned that on a few different like videos of this stuff, is like just the mechanical elements of it where it's like you've got to deal with all these little tedious things. Yeah. You know, like this radiation stuff and all that. Like, there's a lot going on in this one, actually, that you don't really think of unless you get into certain situations or do certain tasks. And yeah. Okay, thanks, man. I do like these elements, though, where you're kind of running into people, interacting with them. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like a vibe to it. You're supposed to, I think, really kind of take things in, do like side activities, which I don't know if I'm totally into that for this type of game. But I like this one because at least the first area, the swamp area too, there was a lot more... I don't know what the best way to put it. Like, it was a lot more detailed, like lots of grass, and it had like a neat aesthetic to it. And there was like just lots of stuff going on. That's, I think, a little bit in this area too. This actually teeters a bit more on the original game just because it does kind of take those concepts of that first one a bit and expands them. But yeah, it is neat because it's a lot more going on. That's the big thing. Like the first game, it's very tight. You're moving through areas, shooting stuff. You're very focused. This one, it expands it a bit, but there's still like activities, shootouts, dogs attacking people, other things going on. Third one is just kind of open and there's not as much going on, which is a bit weird. But this one kind of strikes a nice balance, which is why I just wish that like again that I do wish that it was something that wasn't kind of as kind of like buggy or a little bit more focus on things, and that's what I'm mostly trying to get across is like I like it to a degree. I wish it was a little bit cleaned up for some of the long-term problems, I guess you would say, that you're inheriting with this one so long onwards. Eliminate the military at the elevator. Oh, down over here. Didn't I literally just eliminate those? Like, did I not just come from there and kill all those guys? Yeah, that's the problem. You gotta create supply routes in this where your units actually go from position to position. And as I am complaining about problems, and you haven't really seen anything like that, but like seriously, there's like a point where you're like, defend this post, and I just sat there for like 20 minutes. I was like, what do you want? I think it's the direction of these games where it's like, I wish I had a bit more focus on where I'm going. But if you like something that's a bit, I want to say slower in its approach and its style, and you kind of take your time going through it and stuff, it's like it's not a bad experience. It's a little slow, I think, for some. I think some will find it a little harder to really get into. I don't even have really any food. I got energy drinks. There we go. Now I got some energy to get where I need to go. It's just so slow sometimes. It's like well, it definitely is that they're purposely delaying how fast you move through the segments and stuff in order to, kind of create an atmosphere and a style. Like, it is really moody. It definitely has like a moody style and feel to it and vibe, which I kind of appreciate. Ugh. Always out of stamina. And it's like, I know I've got too much weight in my inventory, but I'm trying to carry like a bare minimum amount of stuff. It's like, is the ammo really taking up that much? It's kind of annoying, because you need to be nimble and quick in firefights. Like, even in DayZ, I don't think you quite feel the waiting like this unless you're a real pack rat in that one, right? That's a friend, I believe. Yeah, I killed all these guys. Am I gonna get some of those obscene, weird creatures? No? No, there's like a mutant sighting here. Yeah, I never thought we'd see these on console. I really did. I was just kind of like, oh, Stalker 2, cool. Again, it makes a lot of sense to get this one with the sequel coming, but still, really not expected. A very pleasant surprise overall. Nothing is off the cards for porting this gen, I always say that, but seriously, it's just great to have these kind of available, because they're neat nostalgia pieces. And they're just cool new games to play, right? Something different, a little of a creepy shooter. Something that's got such a PC history, and now we can just kind of enjoy them console-wise, I think is a great thing. That's really what it is. Well, you deal with them. I don't know why I'm sent on these stalker suicide missions all the time. Oh, now we've got to go over to the depot. It's like they're just trying to get me killed, you know what I mean? Ugh, anyways, it's creepy sense of atmosphere at times. I guess it could be unsettling. The unnatural elements are kind of cool. This will either be something of interest to you and intrigue, or it might not be. This one does seem to have a little bit more bugs, just in terms of like gameplay and stuff in comparison to its, predecessor and the one that follows it afterwards. But you might like what this one has to offer. It's kind of neat. It's a little bit different with its faction progression. You might kind of like that sort of concept of gameplay. Really up to the individual here, I'd say.